Every successful legal action, I mean, whether it's a huge commercial lawsuit, a divorce filing, even an eviction, it all starts so far away from the courtroom.
Oh, absolutely. Miles away from the drama.
It starts with this simple but completely foundational step.
The service of process.
Exactly, the service of process. It's this essential, almost invisible first step.
It really is the linchpin of due process. I mean, we always focus on the arguments, the evidence, the verdicts.
Right, the flashy stuff.
But if that service, the legal act of telling a defendant they're being sued, if that's done wrong, the court never even gets jurisdiction.
And the whole case just stops.
It just stalls.
Yeah.
No matter how strong it is.
And that's exactly what our deep dive is about today. We're going to explore the very specialized world of this legal delivery system. We're using a specific team, Lafayette Process Servers, or LPS, as a kind of case study. We want to understand not just what they do, deliver papers, but how their intense local knowledge in a place like Acadia Parish, Louisiana, makes it all work.
And we've got some great source material that details their whole workflow, the huge suite of services they offer. And what's really key, their intimate specialized knowledge of the local courts.
Specifically, the 15th Judicial District Court.
Exactly. It's a fascinating look at how hyper-localized geographic knowledge becomes this indispensable tool for legal pros.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Our mission here is to show you the layers of specialization it takes to be a true local expert in one specific legal jurisdiction. It proves that mastering geography and bureaucracy is, well, just as critical as mastering the law itself.
So for an attorney, or maybe a business, that's starting a lawsuit from far away, the whole service kicks off in the digital world.
Right.
That first interaction with a team like LPS, it's all designed for speed, for security, and administrative efficiency.
The user experience has to be convenient, right? It lets lawyers securely upload these really sensitive legal documents. But let's get specific. What's that initial to-do list for the client? What do they absolutely have to provide?
Well, the required input is super detailed, and for good reason. It basically creates the roadmap for a successful service.
So what's on it?
You've got to provide the exact name of the person or, the entity being served.
The company.
The precise address, and then this is the critical part, a section for special instructions.
Ah, the special instructions. That feels like where the human element gets into the digital system. What kind of information goes in there?
Think about the difference between a pin on a map and reality.
Okay.
That field is where a client can give all those non-technical situational details that GPS just misses. It might be something like, hey, the address is a trailer park. It's lot 14B, second unit on the left.
Or the entrance is around back by the loading dock.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they only accept service before noon. That kind of contextual data is so often the difference between success and failure on that first try.
That makes perfect sense. So once the documents are uploaded, all those critical details are in, the client hits submit. The source material says the workflow is really structured from there. Walk us through that sequence.
Okay, so immediately after submission, the client gets a confirmation email. But, and this is important, the documents don't hit the street just yet.
Oh.
Next, a prepaid invoice is generated and sent out. The source material is very, very firm on this point. Service does not physically start until that invoice is paid.
That prepaid model seems essential for a service this complex and localized. Why is getting that payment up front so important for the whole operation?
It's all about risk mitigation and resource allocation. I mean, think about it. If the server is just relying on a normal billing cycle, they're essentially funding the whole operation up front.
Which could involve multiple trips, days of travel.
And potentially really expensive services like a stakeout. If the cost of chasing down an address, especially on some of these rural roads, is high, the server needs to know those resources are covered before they're spent.
So getting the payment up front just streamlines everything. It lets the team immediately start dedicating time for service attempts in a timely and professional manner.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It makes sure that once they start, a payment issue won't stop them, which is absolutely crucial when you're dealing with court deadlines.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. We've got the documents, the payment is verified, the digital side is all locked down. Now the real test starts. Taking that digital order and translating it into boots on the ground in this really unique, hyper-local place like Acadia Parish, Louisiana.
This is where the specialization just shines. We're focusing on Rayne, Louisiana, the frog capital of the world.
Well, I love that.
It's a tight-knit community, lots of local color, But that very geography, that community layout, it poses some serious practical problems for an outsider.
An attorney sitting in New York, or maybe even just New Orleans, might just assume any address in this day and age is easy to find on a map app. But the sources really push back on that idea.
They push back hard because that assumption costs time and, maybe more importantly, it lowers the success rate. The material claims that serving papers in Acadia Parish requires a team that knows not just the city of Rayne,
But the whole parish.
the whole parish, the specific layout of the rural roads, the county lines, all of it.
So tell me more about those practical challenges. How does GPS get defeated out there?
Well, often in rural Louisiana, addresses can be confusing, or they require knowing local landmarks. A server who doesn't know the area could waste hours looking for a property with no clear sign, or one that's way back on a long, unpaved road.
So where GPS might say, turn left here.
A local expert knows, oh, that's where that old oak tree is. I need to turn left there. That kind of recognition means the service is faster, it has a much higher success rate, and most importantly, it's legally compliant on the very first attempt.
So the argument is that local knowledge directly translates into reliable due process. But knowing the geography is only half of it, right? They also have to be masters of the court system.
Absolutely. The legal landscape in Acadia Parish is built around two main hubs, and a professional process server has to be an expert in both. The main one is the 15th Judicial District Court, the 15th JDC, which is in the parish seat, Crowley.
Okay, so any big complex case is going to land in the 15th JDC.
Exactly. And that means they need an active, daily, physical presence in that courthouse. The key insight here is that the filing requirements, the local rules, even judge-specific procedures,
Yeah.
they're always changing.
So the local server is like a human firewall for out-of-town law firms.
That's a great way to put it. They make sure the affidavits and returns of service are formatted exactly how that specific court demands them.
But it's not just the big district court. They also have to master the smaller local system.
Correct. They also have to handle cases filed in the Rayne City Court,
Yep.
which deals with more, localized municipal issues, smaller claims. A really comprehensive server for Acadia Parish has to be an expert in the procedures of both the 15th JDC in Crowley and the Rayne City Court.
A dual court mastery.
That's what it is.
And they cover the entire parish, including all those rural spots outside the 70578 zip code, where an address might even require a special vehicle or something. It just underscores how specialized this job is. It connects geography directly to the legal outcome.
And if that affidavit of service has the wrong language, or if the server takes too long because they got lost on some back road, the whole case is in jeopardy. And the client, the attorney, looks incompetent. The local expert is selling certainty.
Okay, let's shift focus a bit. We've established that just the basic act of serving papers in this region is a highly specific skill. But the sources show that a good firm, like LPS, is more like an all-in-one legal support partner. They offer services that go way beyond just delivery.
This is where you see the evolution from, a simple delivery service to a full-on investigative and administrative legal support agency. They still have the core options, of course.
Like routine, rush.
Right.
Yeah.
Routine service is 3 to 5 days. Rush is 1 to 2 days. And same day for, absolute emergencies.
That tiered structure makes sense. A same-day service must require a huge, immediate allocation of resources.
It does. And it means the clock is ticking on something legally vital. But they also handle much more complex tasks that require a really deep knowledge of Louisiana legal codes.
Give us an example of one of those more complex services.
Okay, take eviction support. This requires proper and really swift service of things like 5-day notices to vacate, and then the eviction lawsuit itself.
And those procedures are super technical.
Highly technical and very time-sensitive under state law. If you serve that 5-day notice incorrectly, you could reset the entire clock, which massively delays the property owner's ability to reclaim their property.
And then there are the services that are all about the courthouse itself, which means being physically present in Crowley every day.
Those are the courthouse runner and filing services. They literally make daily runs to the 15th JDC for physical filings, for court research, document retrieval. For a law firm that's hours away, having a trusted partner on the ground saves so much time, travel, and prevents filing errors.
But what happens when the system hits its biggest roadblock? Human evasion. What if the person they need to serve knows they're coming and is actively trying to hide?
That's where the advanced services come in. It's a blend of logistics and professional investigation. They offer expert skip tracing.
Which is more than just a quick Google search.
Oh, much more. This is professional location services using databases and field knowledge to find defendants or witnesses who are hard to find, especially those trying to disappear into the rural parts of Acadia Parish.
And if they know someone is being evasive, the source materials mention what sounds like the nuclear option, the process server stakeout service.
It is intense. It involves dedicated surveillance, sometimes for hours over multiple days, focused on a home or a workplace, just waiting for the person to show up so service can be legally completed.
That's a huge investment of time and resources.
It's way beyond just ringing a doorbell. It ensures that even people who are actively trying to dodge the system can't escape that due process requirement of notice.
And this team has clearly built a lot of credibility on this foundation. The sources say they're 5-star rated, and the founder, Scott Frank, has over 20 years of experience in Louisiana legal support.
That longevity is key. They're positioned as the go-to servers because they don't just deliver the paper, they ensure the entire process follows the specific, often tricky 15th JDC rules perfectly. They're selling competence, really. Peace of mind.
So what does this all mean, then? This isn't just specialized mail delivery. They're specialized navigators of geography, of court compliance, and human evasion. They make sure the most basic step of the legal system happens flawlessly.
Even if that means tracking someone down on a rural road outside the fraud capital of the world, it just reveals how deep the ecosystem that supports our legal system really is.
So let's sum up the key takeaways. We've learned that process serving, especially in a place like Acadia Parish, is a hyper-localized skill. It requires expert knowledge of court procedures, specifically the 15th JDC and Crowley, and intimate, boots-on-the-ground knowledge of the physical landscape.
And before we close out, it's really important to repeat a crucial legal disclaimer from the sources we looked at. The content that Lafayette Process Servers presents is for information only.
Right.
They are not attorneys. They cannot give legal advice. If you have been served with legal papers, you should talk to a qualified attorney immediately to go over your rights and your options.
Excellent point. You have to consult a lawyer. Now, for the final thought for you to chew on, we just spent this whole deep dive talking about the intense logistics, specialized vehicles, daily courthouse runs, expert skip tracing, dedicated stakeout teams, all of it needed just to complete the simple act of delivering a document.
It's the invisible cost of accountability.
Exactly. Think about the hidden effort required to maintain the rule of law. If a process server needs a stakeout team and total mastery of ever-changing local court rules just to find an address or serve an evasive person, what does that tell you about the sheer effort it takes to maintain the very foundations of our judicial system? How much work goes into just starting a legal case? Something for you to mull or explore on your own.